Well, hello. It's Justin here. I was thinking about this, another elaboration on, people always tell me I tell everybody my life story when I meet them, and personality flaw. Um, I got into politics at an early age. I was about, like, maybe 7, 8, Why, 7, 8-year-old getting into politics? Well, wonder I had no friends. I went to a co-ed private school here in Youngstown. And I didn't get the impression it was all white guys, right? No, 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 no. It was a multicultural school. There was Asian people, there was Hispanics, there was blacks. There were girls too, there was women there too, and we were, and people would talk about things like blue pill, red pill, that thing wasn't around back in, 1988, and I was a liberal Democrat for the longest time. But I was also on the wrong side of the equation. And the thing, we talked about the whole red pill thing. The red pill me was 93. 93, I was 11 years old. I witnessed Waco live on TV, and I was like, okay, government. Okay, there's a radical cult going on. And they were going in there trying to save these kids, and I saw that, and I learned later that instead of saving them, they burn them. They incinerate all these kids. They say, well, they were going to die anyways, and I'm like, so you're going to kill them anyway? Or you're going to say, well, they have a bad fate anyways, let's give them a worse fate, Stupid. That red pilled me. Back in 93. I grew up in the 90s, I'm a actual 90s kid. An actual 90s kid, if you turn it into a term literally. But, I grew up in a time when Clinton was president, and it was not politically correct to criticize Clinton. And the more shit that I encountered growing up, the more right-wing I got, which landed me where I am, which is, clerical fascism. I thought about things. And being against Clinton in the 90s was a very, very, very politically incorrect thing to me. You can't do that. That's not allowed. That's not politically correct. You're not going to... And they guaranteed me that I had almost no friends. And things just... The ball started getting rolling, It's like just event after event after event, and I just got fed up. I've lost a lot of friends because of my newfound beliefs, and basically went from a neoconservative to an anarcho-capitalist to start going to national anarchism. I got into Strasserism for a while, and now I consider myself a fascist. It's not a good time, and people say stuff like, he was such a perfect president, and most of the people that are on the neoconservative end of the spectrum always focus on the fact that he cheated on his wife. That's the least of my problems. I didn't like the way he was conducting the war in Yugoslavia, the former Yugoslav Republic. I didn't like the way he treated the whole Waco situation. And people will say stuff like, well, Bush thinks things worse. Well, no, I don't disagree with that, It's like, people think it started with Bush. It didn't. I spent through most of the 90s. I saw him piling it on. It's like somebody taking America and taking a big dump on it. And then somebody saying, this needs a little more shit. We need to take another dump. And then Obama, another dump. And, don't get me wrong. I love America. I have no problem with it. I liked what it originally stood for. And my family, especially my father's side, has been here for about 300 years. We were off the Mayflower, and before somebody says, well, you're a responsible slave. I'm not white. I don't have white guilt. So, don't even try that with me, because I will just ignore it. if for the fact that my family has been there for 300 years, only to watch this whole nation just fall to pieces. And one thing that gives me a little hope is the generation after me. Yeah, probably not the tail end, really, because the tail end of that generation is still developing. But I'd say the ones who were born 95, 96, I see a lot of, like, rise in the far right. A small percentage, but rise far right now. You figure somebody like me, who is 33 years old, spend their time on poll. It led me there. It led me there. It led me to poll. You know, 8chan. And it took years for that to happen. But, I'm not saying that, people should feel sorry for me. I mean, yeah, high school shit and kids are mean, But growing up, I didn't have the circle of friends got smaller and smaller and smaller the farther right I went, in Northeast Ohio. It's very uncouth and very, unpopular when you embrace that stuff. And the farther right you go, the less people you're going to find who align with your views. That's a fact of life. And a lot of leftists don't understand that. They say, well, everybody should accept my outlandish views. I realize it. A lot of people don't. That's a fact of life. And it just led me there. The more negative shit I encountered. It all started with Clinton. It didn't start with Bush. It started with Clinton. And, people say, well, it's 9/11 shit, It's like, okay, whatever. That went downhill. That was bad, I'm not going to elaborate on the whole thing. But, it didn't start with Bush. I lived the 90s. To me, it started with Clinton. Now, growing up with my father, who was a staunch neoconservative, now he's like, oh God, blah, 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 thinks he can do no wrong. And that's one of the reasons why in my family I don't discuss politics anymore. My dad and I used to be on the same page. He went to moderate left. I went far right. I got introduced to conservative ideals through Rush Limbaugh. Books, those things that have, paper in them that, kids don't even use these days. And I read his books, and I just get into all this shit. I started, it was like people say, well, the internet red pilled me. I wasn't really using the internet to red pill myself. I was going through books. I started getting into the neoconservative stuff, started questioning the government, started going farther and farther and farther. I landed where I am today. I've lost a lot of friends because of it. But you know what? It's a fact of life. And something I'm willing to deal with. But the thing I'm happy to see is a lot of people in the generation after me. And this is actually encompassing the generation. This is like my brother's generation is from 92. It's like he was born in 1992. I was born in 1982. And his generation still encompasses mine, which I kind of find insulting because a lot of kids, there's a mixed amount, but there's a small percentage of people, especially people from, 8chan, that are embracing far-right ideals, and it's increasing by the day, the more fucked up the world gets, and, I can only see it as a positive thing, but, growing up with my gen, where I grew up, I was borderline Generation X, there was nobody like me. They didn't you kidding me? Couldn't find anybody that aligns with my views in my generation. They hated people like me. In fact, I don't even think anybody in my generation even knows what fascism entails. They say, well, it's the same as Nazism. No, it's not. Totally different philosophies. Not completely different philosophies, but there is a difference. I'm not willing to go into the difference. That could be a whole nother video, but I'm just saying that that's, the course of action. That's how it's been, but, I'm happy to see that some people are finally seeing the light. And give me a sense of optimism a little bit. And I've built years of pessimism. And finally I'm seeing some people saying, wow. People that may be quite a bit younger, be old enough to, young enough to be my children, And I'm like, it's cool. I like it. And I'm like, I want to see more of it. But, I'll probably go into the whole, fascism versus National Socialism thing in another video, but, at the end of this video, so, take care.